Do we have anyone here on that matter?
There we go.
Your Honor, Amanda Holder here on behalf of County Counselor.
I'm here, Your Honor, Melissa Royer.
Okay.
And Casey Looney on behalf of the state for child support as well, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, and I apologize, Ms. Holder, you are representing?
County Counselor.
Okay. All right, thank you.
And Your Honor, Ms. Farr is the GAL on this matter, and I've talked to her this morning. I don't know if she's on yet.
Here we go.
Good morning.
Good morning. This is the Royer children that we're talking about.
Okay.
So one, I was looking for the service of the parents. Has that been made?
Your Honor, service has been made on father. Service was made on mother, but there isn't a proof of service filed. And I have discussed that with Ms. Holder this morning. She's working on getting that proof filed.
Good. All right.
Just to clarify, Your Honor, I hadn't seen a proof of service for either parent in the file.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Has father been filed?
So where was the one for the father? What date was that filed?
The father, it's mislabeled under one of the tribal notices, but it is actually service on the father. I can pull it up here real quick. It's dated November 21st of 2023.
Okay. Yeah, it's definitely.
What?
All right. So with that, what's the status as far as the guardian ad litem?
So, Your Honor, I have I have spoke with mother. Mother told me that she is willing to consent. I don't see her on the Zoom. I just spoke with her last night to confirm that. I sent her the consent form. She hasn't signed it and sent it back yet. I have not spoken with father yet. I didn't have good contact information, and so I am still in my investigation.
Okay. All right. And there was something about an evidentiary hearing. I don't recall exactly what that was about.
I don't recall that either.
Maybe
I'm not sure, Your Honor. I do not recall either.
Okay. Maybe I just misunderstood something. So, okay. Okay. All right. So with that, Ms. Looney, where are things at for your part?
We just need to see if there's going to be a full guardianship put in place, and then our office would draft support orders. We need to have proof of service for both parents, and then we can establish orders as to both parents.
Okay. All right. All right. So what is the proposal or plan here today then?
Your Honor, I would ask for a set over that would allow for us to get the proof of service situation figured out, and so that Ms. Farr can finish her investigation with contacting both mother and father. And my understanding is that on April 8th, she is going to be making contact with Ms. Counselor to do her investigation there. I'm not sure how long we would need for a set over, but it would need to be at least a few weeks.
Okay. Anybody have any objections to that?
I
No,
agree.
Your Honor.
We need to have more time.
No, Your Honor, I have no objections.
Okay.
Oh, so it appears that mother is on the Zoom.
Yeah, I have been here.
Right. Okay.
And I'm going to get that sent over to you today.
The consent.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. So I think that's most appropriate. Is I definitely want to have the guardian ad litem's report. And I just want to make sure, is Dad on by chance?
I do not see
Okay.
him.
Okay. All right. Just thought I would check for the record. So I do not see him. I do not have a response. So, all right. So with that, Ms. Farr, what do you think is a reasonable time for what you need to do?
I would like the set over to be to April 24th to give me time to not just finish my investigation, but prepare my report.
Okay. So April 25th is when we would set it to.
Sorry, I'm looking at the Wednesday docket.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and set this on to April 25, 2024 at 10:30 a.m. And then Ms. Holder, can you get me an order extending?
Yes, Your Honor.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Yes.
What happens if Kevin doesn't sign or Kevin doesn't anything? The dad?
So at this point, it's a matter of waiting and see what's going on. So I don't want to give you bad ideas or wrong information. So
Okay.
at this point, we'll just wait and see.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right. All right, so the attorney, Ms. Holder will do the order extending. We'll set it over to the April 25 for review and to hopefully have the guardian line report done by then. And then if we can get the correction in regard to the service would be good. Okay. And
Yes,
I don't
ma'am.
know if I'm saying that correctly. I apologize if I'm not. Do I have anyone appearing on that matter? Are you able to see if somebody brought in documents? Because they were going to do agreements. All right, it appears that we have an agreement on that.
Your Honor, I apologize. This is Casey Looney with the state. We're not involved in this case, but we had reviewed it to see if we needed to be involved. And if I could speak as a friend of the court, I do have some information to share.
Okay, go ahead.
When we were reviewing this case, we noticed that the paperwork had stated that there was no legal father for the child, but we did discover that there is a legal father for the child. The paperwork had stated he had not been served because there was no legal father, but Joseph Holbrook is on the child's birth certificate as a legal parent.
Okay, all right. Well, unfortunately, we don't have Ms. Powers here. Well, then with that, I think I will hold off on signing paperwork. Because I do not see, I'm going to give these back to you. And can you make contact, Ms. Looney, with Ms. Powers? And let her know.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and just let her know I did not sign the final documents until I have something definite about the dad. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor. I will do that.
All right, thank you. Meanwhile, I'll go ahead and set this matter over 1 week so that can happen and hopefully Ms. Powers can appear. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, going next to the Bolt matters. Cause number 23-4-332-08 and 333-08.
Yes, Your Honor. Rachel Young. I represent the petitioner in both of these minor guardianship matters. We received Ms. Farr's guardian ad litem reports Monday afternoon, and they were mailed up for filing. We then received her signature page to the agreed final orders. I just didn't have the opportunity to get them to you before the hearing this morning. So we are wondering if possible, if I could email you the signed agreed final orders for entry, if your JA would print them. Don't know if that's a possibility or not, but really hoping that we might be able to get final orders to you to enter today.
I won't do that. You're welcome to send hard copies that are signed to the clerk's office. They'll track the documents. They can just put a cover letter on as to it needs to get to me for signature. So either somebody can bring them in today or overnight them if that's what you need to do. But yeah.
I'm in Clark County, so I'll just regular mail them to you and
Okay.
I'll put a date for entry. We have a ex parte version of the order as well for entry on April 4th, which would be 10 days after the service of the guardian ad litem reports. So we will go ahead and mail that up for ex parte entry on this.
All right. And Ms. Farr, you're report has not been scanned in yet, so I've not been able to read it either. That's another part to this.
Okay.
Okay.
Understood, Your Honor.
All right, so let's go ahead, and you want to set it over a week just to make sure everything's been entered?
Yes, and just wondering if it is entered, could my presence be excused and it just stricken? I just would hate to bill additional time for another hearing.
No, that would be fine. I don't have any problem with that.
And Your Honor, I will be out of town next week, so I wouldn't be able to be present either.
Okay. All right. Just really want to have a placeholder to make sure everything gets done. So yeah, if the orders get entered, then no worries. We can just strike the hearing.
Can we set it over 2 weeks for tracking then? Just
Sure, that's fine. April 11.
that would be great, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Will we need an order extending then for that?
There is no temporary orders in place.
There's none. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and just set it over to the 11th. Excuse me. No. Yeah, it's the 11th at 10:30. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Who do we have on this matter?
Good morning, Your Honor. John Sasaki, attorney representing respondent father.
Okay. Anyone else appearing on this case?
I'm here, Your Honor. Sherry Farr, guardian ad litem.
And I'm also here, Gina Canoni.
Okay. All right. So I believe both parents have consented on this matter. Is that correct? Is that everybody's take on this?
Yes, Your Honor, and I've completed my report and mailed it to the parties along with a proposed order, which Mr. Sasaki requested some changes on, and I'm happy to make. I agree with those changes. I haven't had response from Ms. Canoni about if she needed any changes made.
Did you email them or did you mail them?
They were emailed.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
All right. So with that, I'm thinking, one, I haven't seen any report yet. So that's one issue. And then to get it worked out, to get some final orders entered or some orders entered, I'm thinking we should set it over to the 11th just to make sure that everything's been done or whether or not we need to do something differently. And does that work for everyone?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. So I'll go ahead and set the matter over to April 11. If the orders have been entered, then I don't have a problem striking it. And you won't need to appear, but let's make sure those orders are entered before that happens. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. All right. That takes care of that.
Your Honor. I believe Miss Day should also be here. You can see her down there.
Okay.
I'm here, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. All right. So where are things at with this?
Your Honor, we're requesting that that in the interim, before we're going to be setting this for trial, but in the interim, we'd request overnight visitation mom to transition to that. The basis for the minor guardianship, our argument is obviously that it's no longer there. Mom is doing fantastically well. I think Miss Day is here as well. I believe from Miss Day's report that she probably agrees to some extended overnight visitation and some other stipulations for safety, but that's what we'd be asking today to move forward for that. And then obviously we will be setting it for trial.
Ms. Day?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Winkles is correct. I am going to make a recommendation for some changes at this point. And what I would like to propose is that we go to a schedule that is Friday after school until Saturday afternoon with one overnight every other weekend. These children are struggling very significantly. The behaviors have really escalated over the last few months, and I'm trying to see if we can't find a way to adjust this visitation time in a transition that doesn't have so much back and forth. That's part of the struggle that I think is going on with these children. The behaviors have escalated to a level that the oldest child, Kevin, is now on a reduced school schedule because his behaviors are so significant at school. And they are having regular interventions from the WISE team in crisis for both Kevin and River. In addition, Kate's behavior has been very specific towards mom, very aggressive. And so I think that some adjustments to what we're doing might be more appropriate and allow them some downtime. So my recommendation is Friday after school to Saturday afternoon, one overnight every other weekend, and then no contact during the week unless the kids ask for contact. I don't think that the scheduled time, I think there's a lot of pressure on these kids to have all these transitions and all this attention every week. And from talking with the therapist and the principal and talking with the children themselves, I think this is a good step to slow things just a little bit, but to still move forward in a way that's thinking about what's best for these children. I agree that mom is making some progress and she's complying with her services. I did have quite an extensive conversation with her case manager, and there are some ongoing issues, and I don't want to move forward too fast. Mom is on a track for a hard discharge from community house coming up in just a few weeks based on some other issues that she's having. And I don't want these kids having the expectation that they are returning home anytime in the immediate future. And so I think that we need to proceed with caution based on what these children need, not just on mom's progress. There's more to it than that.
Okay. All right, Ms. Thomas?
Your Honor, good morning, Jim Sansone for the Guardian. I apologize, my camera stopped working, but right now my client is in agreement with what the Guardian just said.
Okay. Anyone else?
Your Honor, Attorney Dino Goyak here on behalf of the father, Jason Thomas, and we are in agreement with the Guardian on her perspective on this.
Okay. All right. All right. It sounds like everyone is pretty much in agreement. Or
my only request, Your Honor, would be to get some sort of reunification therapy in place. And I'm not sure if Ms. Day would agree with this, but that, you know, we like the idea of the overnights. Some of the issues that have been ascribed to my client, she doesn't agree with. The hard exit isn't set in stone at this time, but what we'd ask for is my client to be given the opportunity to see if we can facilitate a peaceful transfer over time. And I think the best way to do that, rather than just having overnights and hoping it works out, is to order some sort of reunification therapy. Some counseling between these parties isn't gonna have a problem. We do understand it's expensive. We do understand that, but really we're looking at the best interests overall for these kids. And counseling couldn't hurt, and it might actually facilitate that relationship and deal with some of those issues of violence. And my client's already found a reunification therapist that would be willing to do it. We would just need to check with the parties and make sure that person's appropriate.
Ms. Day, what's your thought in regard to that?
I do agree that at some point that is going to be a necessary step that we need to take due to the length of time that these children have been out of mom's primary care. For Cade, that's nearly his entire life, and for the older two, that's the majority of their life. But at this point, these children are in such a crisis mode. I don't think we're ready for that just yet. I do think that should happen, and I think that's something that we can work out. So I'm fine with leaving that open as an option, but I don't necessarily think we should order it at this point. These children are in extensive services right now, just trying to manage their day-to-day behaviors in school and out of school. And on top of that, we're already having some challenges with mom participating and getting to these appointments and you know, interacting appropriately with these children's services. So I think we should take it that step first, and then the next step would be the reunification.
In that case, Your Honor, if we can set a review for 30 days from now, that gives mom the overnights. Let's see how that goes. And then we can come back and we'll put a proper motion before the court for that reunification therapy.
Anybody else on that issue?
Your Honor, for Ms. Thomas, I'm just thinking maybe a 60-day review. 30-day review would only be 2 overnights. I don't know how much data could be ascertained just from that.
I would agree. I think 60 days would be more appropriate.
Anybody else?
60 days sounds good to us as well.
In that case, I would ask for at least video visitation on the week she doesn't have it, because what this happens is the overnight's great, but we've actually reduced mom's time now. So mom is going to have less time. What I'd ask for is the same amount of time on a different schedule. So if we're going to go to overnights, maybe, because that's 2 weeks, that's essentially 2 weeks we're not hearing from mom, not seeing mom, where mom has almost daily contact right now. So that's really a massive change. So if we can have some sort of additional time on the week she doesn't have the children, I think that would be appropriate. Otherwise, I mean, it's just a cut and dry without any tapering off. Maybe, you know, even a taper would be better than just you see mom, you talk to mom, now you don't at all every 2 weeks. It would be very difficult.
Ms. Day, what do you think of that?
I'm not completely opposed to maybe some video contact on the off week. My goal here is to give these children a break. What we have right now is they are in such a state of dysregulation because of the extensive contact and the conflict that goes on between not only the petitioner and mom, and the kids are very aware of that. Not that that's escalated, that's just kind of been the same. But also mom has recently had a new baby, and the children love that new baby, but that has changed the dynamic within their relationship. And Cade specifically is acting out pretty significantly. So what we have is these children in a constant state of crisis and a feeling there's no downtime. There's no time to process their emotions. It's literally from one exchange or stressful event at school, in crisis with Wise, with mom, at home, and then again, all over.
How old are the children? Remind me.
They are 5. Let me look.
7, 5, and the younger one is 3. 4.
They're 4,
Four.
7,
Yeah.
and 8.
Oh,
Yeah,
There we
that's
go.
what I have, 4, 7, and 8. Okay. All right. Anybody else on that issue?
And Your Honor, as far as Ms. Thomas goes, I think she'd be opposed to the video.
Okay.
Opposed to the video visits in life. That her experience with those is that the turmoil it causes to children is very similar to what it does after they visit with their mother.
So here's what I'm going to do. First off, I do think it's in the best interest of these children to have their visits, the overnight, not have as much contact or regular contact, just because of the behaviors that seem to be coming out at that point. Definitely, it sounds like mom's doing better and doing things, so that's great to hear that. But meanwhile, need to figure out how this is going to work. I think with the number of services that the children are going through at this time, that reunification counseling would be too much at this point. Let's wait and see first how these overnights go. I understand that mom is seeing them on a regular basis, but I also understand that what it's doing to the kids at this point is too much. When those children are on overload, they obviously are really struggling with that. So to say, well, she has 10 hours, so now we still want the 10 hours. Right now, that's not in the best interest of the children, so I'm not going to force that. So I'm not going to do the video visit yet. I think that's something that in the future may be appropriate, and this will be a step forward at that point. And want to see how the overnights go, so there's not so much exchange and what's been going on. So let's go ahead and let's see, we're on March 28, 1, 2, looking at May 30th. That is Memorial Day weekend. Or week, I should say. So in case anybody's gone that week.
I'm available.
I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with it as well.
I'm available as well, Your Honor.
Jim Sandstone's available as well.
Okay, so let's go to May 30th. And if there's something in between, you can note it up and we can address it at that time. And then take another look at it. But this is not supposed to be a penalty for mom. This is not intended. I want to make sure that's understood by mom. This is supposed to be trying to work toward hopefully reunifying, but it needs to be done on the children's schedule, not on mom's schedule. So, okay.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, would the court be willing to recall case number 6 on the docket?
Certainly.
Thank you. I apologize. I'm not sure what happened. I've been in the waiting room and it just cycled. So I apologize for that. But we are here to finalize, and we've got agreed final documents before the court. This child has been subject to a non-parental custody action. The non-parental custodian has signed off and the mother has signed off. Our understanding is that parentage has not been established. The copy of the birth certificate we have has no father. And the non-parental custody action refers to an alleged father, not a father. So we believe everybody's been properly served, everybody's consented, and we'd ask the court to finalize the guardianship today.
Ms. Looney, are you still there? Ms. Looney had different information.
We did, Your Honor, I don't know when that birth certificate was issued that we found that had a legal father's name on it. Again, we would not be getting involved in the case as a party at this time, so we don't have a position on whether Your Honor moves forward today. We just wanted to share that information.
So let me, in regard to the information that you have, Ms. Looney, is that in regard to maybe one child? Trying to recall now.
There's only one child
There is,
involved.
okay. All right. I don't have the information in front of me. Okay. So it's just a one child. So I want to make you aware that that information is out there, that apparently there is a birth certificate with a father's name on it. So that's what was concerning to me. And I understand that the state is not involved at this point, but at the same time had the information. So are you aware in any way of that particular birth certificate?
I was not aware of it. I am aware of who the alleged father is. He's been no part of this child's life. Child's now 16.
Okay.
Given this additional information, we'd still ask the court to finalize, recognizing that we're taking a risk that if this man really is the father, that we haven't included him in the action.
Okay. All right. Can I go ahead and I think with that information and the what's been stated, I will go ahead and sign off on the final orders. All right, I have signed the orders.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, who do we have present on that matter?
Victoria Harris.
Angela Brown.
Angela Brown.
Joshua Harris.
Might be in the waiting room.
I'll check. I'm not seeing anybody in a waiting room.
Or she says waiting for host. Yeah. No, it was a few minutes ago.
Okay, may want to log out and log back in again because I am not seeing anybody in a waiting room.
Okay.
I still don't have anybody in a waiting room.
All right. Well, I don't know what's going on then.
Well, I don't want somebody trying to get in and
Yeah, she's supposed to be here. I don't know.
if I click on courtroom number 3, does that bring it up? So, oh, there we go. There she is. Here as well.
All right.
All right, we have, I see Josh Harris. Is it Alice or Elise?
Alice.
Alice, okay. Alice Dean. And then who else is here for this matter?
Maya Harris should be, or I mean, Maya Dean should be trying to get, I just got off the phone with her. She's actually in the court parking lot right now. And just waiting for the host is what it says.
No, she's in here, but
okay.
There's no sound. She's not logged in with sound.
Okay, hold on, let me tell her.
And I'm Angela Brown.
Okay, and how are you connected in this?
I am the paternal grandmother.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes. And I'm the stepmother of this case.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Dean, I don't know if you can hear me, but you don't have sound connection.
I don't?
Maya Dean.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. I can't hear Maya Dean.
Okay, how does she do that?
I don't know. I don't know what to tell her. There should be something on her phone that says connect to audio.
Okay, hold on, let me try calling her again. This is just ridiculous. freaking.
Ms. Harris, if you're talking to her, Elise Harris or Alice Harris, if you're talking to her, she might want to come up to the second floor and use the iPad.
All right.
She might have a better connection, and that may be what's going on. She's not having good enough connection.
Can she hear now? Is she there now?
She's there, but there's no sound. There's no audio connection.
I don't know. I'm not with her, so I can't.
That's why I would suggest that she come up to the second floor and
Okay. All right, let me call her back one more.
tell her that there's the ability to use an iPad, and that might be a better way to get a connection.
She's the one who showed me how to do this, and so something wrong with her phone, obviously.
Ms. Dean, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Finally, I can. Thank God.
For consideration of what's in the best interest of this child. The first question I have is, there was a guardian ad litem appointed. Do we have that guardian ad litem? Okay, let me see what's going on with that. All right, I was thinking a guardian ad litem had been appointed. All right, so first off, in regard to Dad, and I don't know if you've been served yet or not. We've got two cases going on here, and they're in regard to the same child. And again, for all purposes, they are going to be combined. I denied the emergency order of the stepmother at this point. And again, trying to figure out in the long term what's in the best interest of this child. And I'm not going to make fast moves. I'm not going to jump just for one person because they want something to happen immediately. It's not going to happen that way. We are going to take the steps that are necessary to figure out what is best for this child, not as what is best for the rest of you. So with that, Mr. Harris, one of the things that we want to make sure is that you get served with the paperwork so that you're aware of what's going on. If you don't get served, then that could be a potential issue that we want to avoid, is that you don't know what's actually happening. So I know Maya Dean was having some issues with that. And so if you haven't been in contact with her to give her some contact information, I would suggest that you possibly do that just so you can get service. Meanwhile, the question for me, for you is, you do have a right to an attorney if you qualify for one. So do you wish to have an attorney appointed for you?
I believe I would want Kurt Agnes to.
Okay, I don't make that decision as who it is. That is something that is determined by another person. I don't decide what attorneys are going to represent you. So my question is, do you want to have an attorney?
No.
Okay. All right. So Mom, just to make sure, did you ever get asked that question?
About getting served?
Getting an attorney?
Oh, no, I did not.
Okay. So you also have a right to have an attorney if you qualify for that attorney. Do you wish to be screened to see if you qualify?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Can you just
Your
give me
Honor, while we're talking about this, I would also like a court-appointed attorney.
Okay, Ms. Harris, you don't, under the statute, you're not one of the people that has a right to an attorney. So going back to Mom again, can you give me a sense of do you have an hourly rate of income or anything like that?
I just got proof for disability, actually. So I'm not quite sure. I'm about to get a bunch of garnishments out of it. Trying to figure out what all those are exactly too. So I don't know how much I will be getting yet.
So with that, it sounds like you would qualify for an attorney. All right, so with that, Ms. Harris, I'll go ahead and have an attorney determine and locate it for you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I thought you were asking me if I wanted to represent myself, which I was replying no to. I would like a appointed attorney.
Okay. Can you give me a sense of what your hourly is, or what you take home in a month, or what you make in a month, kind of idea?
I don't have a current income at the moment.
And when's the last time that you were working?
About a year ago.
Okay. All right, sounds like you would qualify. Let me ask this, are you getting any kind of benefits, state benefits or anything?
No, I'm not. I'm getting food stamps. That's all.
Okay, that's what I'm needing. Okay. So I think that's one thing I'll work on, is getting the parents' attorneys so that you have representation, then you can figure it out from there. You can figure out the service issue and whether you want to be served or not. That I'll leave that between you and your attorney. And then meanwhile, the other part of this is I thought I had already appointed a guardian ad litem, but I'm going to go ahead and appoint a guardian ad litem. I'm going to take a minute and go get the list. I don't have it with me. I'll be right back. We can go off the record for a minute. So I'm going to be appointing Sherry Farr, Farr. So if everybody would get a pen at gmail.com. And that will be, she'll be appointed in both cases. And as far, we have the maternal grandmother where the child is currently staying that filed. And then we have a stepmother, Victoria Harris, that also filed a minor guardianship action. What I know at this point is that the maternal grandmother, which is Maya, M-A-I-A Dean, that's where the child is and has the emergency placement at this time. In that case, what I know of is the father has not been served yet by the maternal grandmother.
Judge, this is Maya Dean.
Hold on just a minute. The sealed CPS reports were filed March 25th. And then you may have heard that as of today, I'll be appointing counsel for each, the mother and the father. And we'll try to get that figured out as soon as possible as to who those attorneys will be. And then we'll go from there. But other than that, I'm not making any changes or doing anything different until I get input from the guardian ad litem.
Your Honor, is this a GAL appointment or a CV appointment?
GAL.
Okay.
10-year-old child.
Your Honor, all I ask is that we put a gag order in effect. The child had mentioned that the maternal grandmother had mentioned dad was on drugs and that paternal grandmother was providing the drugs for him.
Right. Okay. So I get there's a lot of emotion going on. I get that there is a lot of, ultimately, quite honestly, when I see that there are a number of people that care about a child and want to do the best for the child, that's a lucky child. From many of the kids that I see that cross my desk, that's wonderful to see. At the same time, I want you to figure out what's the best interest of the child. Do not badmouth anybody else. Do not badmouth the parents. It does not make you look good. So, and the guardian ad litem will be investigating this matter and talking to everybody, getting your input from everybody. And so at this point, let her do her job and we'll get it figured out what's best for this child.
Your Honor, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
I'm Angela Brown and I'm the paternal grandmother of Maya. And I wanted to ask you a question because I'm not sure how all of this works. I just wanted to state that I am regularly in Maya's life since she was born. And when I say that, I mean daily. And since she's been gone to Maya's, I have not been able to have any contact with her. I have one granddaughter who lives with me now, and I have all of the other siblings at least once a week, including Maya. And spring break is coming up, and I'm wondering what kind of rights do I have to have her come visit me? Because this is like, it's been taken away in a sense, and I do care about this child. Like, I do want the best interest for her, and I appreciate how you are handling this matter. I just want to know where I stand as far as maybe having her one day during spring break with all of her siblings and her cousin. She's very familiar with me. Like I said, I don't know how this works. I've never had to do this before.
Okay. So one, I can't give you legal advice.
Okay.
And I want to make it clear to Mr. Harris, when I spoke earlier, it may have sounded like I was trying to tell you what to do in regard to service. I apologize. That was not my intent. As I said before, that's between you and your attorney and what you decide on that part of it. I just want to make you aware that I know that Ms. Dean has been looking to serve you in case I didn't know if you knew or not. So that was all. But ultimately, I can't give you legal advice. And I know that makes it complicated because, you know, we have a lot of people that are not represented by attorneys and trying to understand where your role is and what you can and cannot do. That's up to you to consult with an attorney if you so choose. That said, Ms. Dean, I would like to make sure that Maya is having the contacts that she needs to have to stay healthy and emotionally and physically. And so I don't know what your thoughts are in regard to visitation.
Right. I did include a visitation schedule for Megan and Maya's younger siblings. And so we have another one this afternoon at 5 before softball practice. And then tomorrow evening. And then on Sunday after church, I had texted Megan earlier to see if she would like to come to the meal that they serve after the Easter service on Sunday. Otherwise, we could meet at the park because I think that the weather's supposed to be nice.
Okay. When you say Megan, who are you?
Oh, I'm sorry. Victoria. That's the name she goes by usually, but her name is Victoria. Thank you.
Okay.
And I was able to serve Josh at his last known address. Ran out of time last night though to turn in the process of service.
Okay. So one thing I want to make sure everybody understands, whatever you file with the court, you need to make sure a copy of that goes to everybody else that's involved in the case. Okay. So
Your Honor, the person who served my house, I told him Joshua Harris was not living there. He was no longer on the lease.
It's not before me. I'm not going to decide service right now. All I'm saying is that make sure that anything you file with the court a copy of it needs to go to all the other parties of the case. Okay. That's what I just want to make clear, because too often I have things that get filed and the other party doesn't know about it. So just letting you know that. As far as whether it's valid service or not, that can be brought up by Mr. Harris at a later time or by his attorney once he gets an attorney. That's up to him. So let's go back to what I was really wanting to talk about, which is some visitation. And Ms. Dean, do you have any objections to Angela Brown having some contact with the child?
I don't really have a problem with that. Just I would like there to be some parameters around it because I'm not sure where Josh is living or staying.
He is not staying with me and he will not be here. I can guarantee you that.
So in the past, then Judge, Maya has spent weekends with Grandma Angela, and that has been fine. And Maya hasn't had an opportunity since last Friday to see her siblings. So if they're all going to be there, then that seems like that would be nice for Maya.
Thank you.
So what I would encourage you to do is have contact with each other. Again, the best thing you can do is work out what's best for this child. And if you can do it amongst yourselves, all the better. I suggest that you put it in writing and signed off by each of you, just so that if it comes to an issue, we have something that is signed and agreed to, okay? So meanwhile, Ms. Farr will start working on looking into this. And Ms. Farr, right now, the biggest issue is I've got these two cases. I have maternal grandmother, and then I've got the stepmother, and trying to figure out where's the best place at this time for the child to be placed. That's my main issue that I just don't know at this time. I'm leaving her at grandma's, at the maternal grandmother's until I get something, just so I'm not moving her all around and without knowing any information.
Your Honor, one last thing before we go. So Maya Dean had called social services against me and said that my house was inhabitable to live in and asked that my kids be removed from my home. Social services has came to my home and did go question all the kids and said that she would be willing to talk to the guardian ad litem about Maya, because she asked Maya if she could have it her way where she would want to go, and she said she wanted to come back to my house.
And Ms. Farr knows as a guardian ad litem that so let me explain what a guardian ad litem is. They are a person that investigates to make a recommendation to the court as to what's the best interest of this child. So that's why I gave you the contact information, so that she can hear from you to get your contact information. And then she'll talk to everyone, including the child, and make a recommendation to the court, okay? That way we're not piecemealing this every time that we get together and talk to try to figure out what's best for Maya. So, I don't want to call you Ms. Harris because I've got 4 people with Harris as the last name, or 3 people. So, Megan, I'll refer to you as Megan. That's not to be disrespectful to you. That information is something that you would relate to the guardian ad litem, and then the contact information for that person. Okay. So if you don't have that contact information, make sure to get it and get it to the guardian ad litem. Okay.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. So for today, I won't be doing anything else. Hopefully things can get worked out. So there's some visitation. In the meantime, Maya needs her family. She wants to love all her family, not just one of you. So make sure that, again, no remarks about the other party that are negative or bad. Okay. She wants to be a 10-year-old, let her be a kid. All right. So we'll go ahead, and I'm going to set this over 2 weeks, in particular to try to get the attorneys on board for mom and dad. And then we'll go from there. Okay. If you have any problems connecting to the internet, we do on the second floor have an iPad. You have to first make contact with the clerk's office, then they'll call court administration or let court administration know that you're there to use the iPad, and the court administration will come out and set you up to have that iPad. Okay. All right. So that's what we'll be doing for today.
Judge.
Yeah.
One last thing, would the appropriate place for me to make sure everybody has my phone number is through the guardian ad litem?
That's not up to the guardian ad litem. It'd be more appropriate if you just reach out to people and let them know.
Right. I just don't have any current phone numbers. I don't think I've, used Facebook and old phone numbers, but was not getting a response.
All right. If you want to go ahead and provide it right now, that's fine with me.
That's perfect. My phone number is 503-1234@gmail.com.
Okay. Anybody else that wants to provide their information? If not, I gave you the information for the guardian ad litem. You just need to make contact with her. Okay.
Your Honor, so I just like to say to the parties to please make sure that you reach out and make contact with me, so I have your numbers. And if I don't answer, leave it on my voicemail. I am going to be out of town from Tuesday on next week. So make sure you try to get a hold of me this week.
Mrs. Farr, could I give you my number at this time? And to Maya, Dean?
Okay.
960.
And also, if there's anything that's filed with the court, the guardian ad litem is a party to the action. So make sure that you also send me copies.
Thank you.
Okay.
And I'm not in a situation where I can disclose my location, but I will be able to contact you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So with that, nothing else. And we will see you back here on April 11 at 10:30.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No,